Signing an offer to purchase for a property. What are the things that you need to know before signing an offer to purchase as either a buyer or as a seller? Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindokuhle Mnisi, and if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button and the bell so that the algorithm of YouTube can notify you when we post another video. So in this short video, we are going to discuss the nitty-gritties, the legalities, and everything you need to know before signing an offer to purchase. So in layman terms, what is an offer to purchase? An offer to purchase is simply a contract between a seller and a buyer, and also a real estate agent if there's one involved. So this is the document that will come from the real estate agent and the agency that is selling that property, and they will give that to the buyer to put down their details, put down their offer, put down every other details that is needed by the legally binding document. And the same document will be taken to the seller as well to also look into it, look at the offer, look at the clauses and terms and conditions, and also put down their signature. And it will also go to the real estate agent, who will also sign on the dotted lines. The agent might then take it to their big offices in the real estate agency, and it will now become a legally binding document. So what are the things that are likely to be included into the offer to purchase? The exact purchase price and any conditions given by the purchaser to the seller. Any conditions of sale, for example, that the purchase price is dependent on the buyer getting a bond or selling a property. That the deposit will be held in a trust pending the completion of the sale, and that interest will be accrued to the buyer. That all fixtures and fittings that are part of the sales agreement are clearly stipulated, as this is often an area of contention. By adequately specifying these items, conflict can be avoided. That the owner declares that to the best of his or her knowledge, the house is structurally sound. Although sellers often try to protect themselves from any claims by a footstool or as-is clause, this will only protect them from claims where they were unaware of such defects. If the seller is in possession of approved plans, there should be an undertaking to provide a copy of these plans. If the home was recently constructed, a copy of the NHBRC certificate as well as occupation certificate may need to be provided. Compliance in respect of electricity and electric fencing must be adhered to, and the agreement of sale should address these issues. So now you've signed your offer to purchase as either the buyer or the seller. Can I cancel the offer to purchase? Now let's look into that. Remember, an offer to purchase, after it has been signed by both parties, it becomes a legally binding document. Anybody in breach of that contract will be held liable unless there is a mutual understanding and a mutual agreement. What are the instances where either party can cancel an offer to purchase? Number one, in my understanding, is that if there is a clause in the contract that says if one party fails to adhere to certain terms and conditions or fails to meet their part of the obligation, their part of their side of the bargain, then we can cancel the contract. That needs to be stipulated in the offer to purchase. The second one, in my understanding, is if, remember, for the buyer, some of the buyers, unless you are buying cash, but subject to getting a bond approval. So imagine you are signing an offer to purchase and you are stipulating there that you are going to apply for a bond. And if you get declined for that bond, the seller cannot then hold you accountable to say you must continue with the process even though you have not been approved by the bank to get a bond. I hope that makes sense, because if you are not getting the bond approval, then you don't have the money to buy the property. Then that deal needs to fall off. So that needs to be stipulated in the contract, in the offer to purchase, to say if the buyer cannot get a bond approval, then they cannot proceed with this contract. Then this contract needs to be cancelled and someone else needs to enter into this contract. Those are the two instances. If there is a clause that specifies that should one party not be able to meet their part of the bargain, then the contract will be cancelled. Or if it is put there that if you are not able to get a bond as the buyer, you can then cancel the property, cancel the contract. But, and this is something that I've experienced myself just recently, it is illegal to cancel an offer to purchase if all parties involved are actually meeting their part of the bargain. They are all meeting their side of the contract. It's illegal to then cancel the offer to purchase. And anybody who is in breach of that contract will be held liable by either the other party or by the real estate agency or the real estate agent for their commission that they were supposed to get from this deal. So it is important that you look into the offer to purchase that you are signing before signing it. Make sure that you read through it. In most instances, the real estate agent will either sign with you, sit down with you and say, let's sign the document. Ask for some time to read through it. Also write some notes on the side that you can take to the real estate agent and the buyer to say, I noticed this, I came across this in the offer to purchase. Can we adjust this and print a new copy so that I can sign on the amended copy? Make sure that you go through the whole thing. That's why it's important as well to go and view the property. Don't just get too excited that you are now going to apply for a property that you haven't viewed, a property that you haven't seen, all the rooms, all the walls, and everything in it, because you will end up signing an offer to purchase that is not in your favor as the buyer. Also, if you are the seller, make sure that you know the price that has been put there by the purchaser as an offer. The purchaser will put down an offer if the house has been advertised for 820,000 rand. The purchaser has the right, and they can, most of them do, try to negotiate with the seller or negotiate with the real estate agent. Most of us, we do the negotiation because we do the calculations. I've done calculations in one of the videos. You might just scroll down on the YouTube channel to check the calculations that one needs to make before putting down an offer to purchase on a property. It's very important. Some of us will look into the numbers. Some of us will look into, does it talk to what we are trying to do in the real estate space? Some of us are looking at real estate spaces that have a big enough yard for us to build more cottages, more rental units. So you need to have seen that the space is enough, make your calculations, see the projections on how much money you are likely to make, how many tenants can you get into the property, and all those kind of things. There are different things that people buy properties for. So if you are buying it for rental purposes, those are the things you need to look at. Is it in line with what you are trying to do? So that before you sign on the dotted lines, before you sign the offer to purchase, you are sure about what you are signing. On the seller side, they need to look into the offer that you are putting forward after you've done your own calculations. So on the 850,000 rand bond, 850,000 rand advertised purchase price, you can go as the buyer and say, I'm only offering 820. When you sign that you are offering 820 and the seller comes in to also sign for the 820, the seller cannot then come a day or two later and say, I made a mistake, I definitely wanted 850, because at that time the document is now a legally binding document that either party that is in breach of that contract will be held liable. They'll be held accountable and they can even pay damages. The buyer will obviously say, no, I'm bringing in my lawyers and we're proceeding with this process, and you will sell me the property at 820, and they are legally allowed to do that. The seller on the other side can say, I now want 850,000. Now the agent can say, if you are in breach of this contract, I'm going to take you on. You are going to pay me the full commission that I was supposed to get from this property, and it becomes a messy situation. So as a buyer, make sure you sign on the dotted lines when you are sure that you are going to take this contract all up until the end. And as the seller, you must also be sure that I'm going to adhere to this contract all up to the end, and also as the agent. So it's very important that you don't sign an offer to purchase unless you are sure about the clauses, about the terms and conditions, about the price, and about the fixtures and the fittings in the property. Thank you very much for joining me once again in this video. If this is your first time, make sure you don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also the like button. I try by all means to teach through these videos. So thank you very much for joining. I hope to see you once again in the next video.